Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. Rejoice with Jerusalem and exult in her, all you who love her. Rejoice greatly with her, all you who mourn over her. So may you nurse and be filled from the breasts of her consolations. So may you receive milk and overflow with delights from every portion of her glory. For thus says the Lord, behold, I will turn a river of peace toward her, with an inundating torrent, the glory of the Gentiles from which you will nurse. You will be carried at the breasts, and they will caress you upon the knees. In the manner of one whom a mother caresses, so will I console you, and you will be consoled in Jerusalem. You will see, and your heart will be glad, and your bones will flourish like a plant, and the hand of the Lord will be known to his servants.
Above all women on the earth, blessed be the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. You are the highest honor of our race. You are the highest honor of our race. Chosen in silence, crowned by grace. You are the highest honor of our race. From the lowliest place you were lifted. From hidden years you were known. He looked upon your humility, and through you hope was born. You are the highest honor of our race. You are the highest honor of our race. From dungeon walls to holy space, you are the highest honor of our race. Your deed of hope will not be forgotten by those who speak of the might of God. Through prayer, through penance, through obedience, you open the way where mercy flows. You are the highest honor of our race. You are the highest honor of our race. A mother's heart, a refuge place. You are the highest honor of our race. Not promised ease, not spared the sword, yet perfectly aligned with the word. Where heaven bends to human need, you intercede. You intercede. You are the highest honor of our race. You are the highest honor of our race. From Cana's wine to Lourdes grace, you are the highest honor of our race. Lead us
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. And on the third day, a wedding was held in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Now Jesus was also invited to the wedding with his disciples. And when the wine was failing, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "What is that to me and to you, woman? My hour has not yet arrived." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now in that place there were 6 stone water jars for the purification ritual of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 measures each. Jesus said to them, "Fill the water jars with water." And they filled them to the very top. And Jesus said to them, "Now draw from it and carry it to the chief steward of the feast." And they took it to him. Then when the chief steward had tasted the water made into wine, since he did not know where it was from, for only the servants who had drawn the water knew, the chief steward called the groom, and he said to him, "Every man offers the good wine first, and then when they have become inebriated, he offers what is worse. But you have kept the good wine until now." This was the beginning of the signs that Jesus accomplished in Cana of Galilee, and it manifested his glory, and his disciples believed in him. Join us for today's reflection. They called it the Casho, which means dungeon. It had been a prison cell until the authorities condemned it as too unhealthy for criminals. 12 feet by 14 feet, with one window facing a manure pile. 6 people slept on straw in that room, surviving on whatever scraps of work they could find. This is where the Soubirous family lived in February 1858. The father, Francois, had recently been arrested for stealing a single plank of wood. The charge was dropped, but the humiliation stuck. Their name means sovereign in the local dialect, and they had once owned a prosperous mill. Now they lived in a hole that jailers refused to use. Bernadette was the eldest daughter, 14 years old but looking younger because cholera had stunted her growth. She stood 4 feet 7 inches tall. Asthma choked her lungs. She could not read or write, and she studied catechism with children half her age because she had missed so much school. On February 11th, she went with her sister and a friend to gather firewood and bones along the river. Bones could be sold and driftwood could be burned. This is what the children of the Casho did to survive. When they reached the grotto at Massabielle, Bernadette stopped to remove her stockings to cross the cold water, and she heard a sound like wind rushing through trees, but nothing moved except a wild rose bush in a rocky niche above her. She looked up and saw a young woman standing in that niche, not an older matronly figure, but someone who appeared to be about 16 years old. She wore white with a blue sash. A rosary of pearl beads hung from her arm. Golden roses rested on her bare feet, and she was looking directly at Bernadette with a smile that would change everything. They prayed the rosary together in silence. When it ended, the young woman vanished. Over the next 5 months, she appeared 17 more times. Crowds gathered in the thousands. Police interrogated Bernadette and threatened to put her in an asylum. A local official barricaded the grotto and posted armed guards. And through it all, the young woman delivered a message that Bernadette faithfully repeated, even though most of it made no sense to her. Pray for sinners, do penance, go drink from the spring and wash yourself in it. Tell the priests to build a chapel here and have people come in procession. That was the message. Prayer, penance, water, and a gathering place. Nothing about healing. Nothing about miracles, just an invitation to return to God through the oldest practices of faith. The parish priest, Father Peyramal, grew impatient. If this lady wants a chapel built, he said, she needs to tell us who she is. So Bernadette asked. Again and again she asked, and the young woman only smiled in response. Finally, on March 25th, the Feast of the Annunciation, she answered. She spoke in Occitan, the local dialect of shepherds and peasants, not in French. I am the Immaculate Conception. Bernadette did not know what these words meant. She repeated them over and over on her way to the rectory so she would not forget. When she told Father Peyramal, the blood drained from his face. The doctrine of the Immaculate Conception had been formally defined by Pope Pius IX only 4 years earlier. It was a sophisticated theological concept debated for centuries in seminaries and Vatican councils. An illiterate peasant girl should never have heard the phrase in her life. But the priest understood something else. The young woman had not said I was immaculately conceived. She said I am the Immaculate Conception. She named herself after the doctrine itself, a phrase so strange that Bernadette could not have invented it because she did not even understand what it meant. A fraud would have said, "I am the Virgin Mary," or "I am the Mother of God." Only heaven would use a phrase that sounds grammatically strange until you realize it echoes exactly how Jesus revealed himself in the Gospels. And this is what makes Mary's request so striking. The one who is unbroken relationship with God, who embodies perfect communion, tells us the way back is through prayer and penance, not through bargaining or wish lists, not through transactions where we offer God something in exchange for what we want, through prayer, which is relationship, through penance, which is return. She never promised healing. She never mentioned miracles. She told Bernadette to dig in the mud until water appeared, and Bernadette obeyed even though the crowd thought she had lost her mind. A spring emerged that still flows today, producing 27,000 gallons of water daily. The cures came anyway, uninvited and unexplained. A blind stonecutter washed his face in the spring and could see. A dying toddler was immersed in the freezing water and recovered completely. The reports piled up so fast that the church established a medical bureau to investigate them, staffed by physicians and scientists rather than priests. Their standards are brutal. A cure must be instantaneous, complete, permanent, and scientifically inexplicable. The minimum investigation takes 5 years, and they reject almost everything. Since 1858, over 7,000 cures have been reported at Lourdes. The Medical Bureau has verified 72. That is a rejection rate of 99%, and those 72 include a girl whose bone cancer vanished in days and a man whose destroyed hip regenerated without surgery. These are medical records reviewed by skeptics, documented with imaging, and tracked for decades. But 5 million pilgrims visit Lourdes every year. Most of them are sick. Most of them are not cured, because healing was never the point. The young woman who appeared in the grotto asked for prayer and penance. She offered what she is, relationship with God. We come to God with our wish lists. Fix this, heal that, give me what I want and I will believe. Mary came to a garbage dump to find a starving girl and invited her into something different. Not a transaction, but a relationship. Not a vending machine, but a mother. Isaiah describes exactly this. As one whom his mother comforts, so will I comfort you. The comfort God offers is not the comfort of getting what we want. It is the comfort of being held by someone who loves us whether the disease disappears or not. The young woman in the grotto embodies this. She is perfect relationship with God, and she came to the dungeon, to the place where even prisoners would not stay, because that is where the forgotten people live. Judith acted when the men failed, and the people praised her as the highest honor of their race. Bernadette acted too. She went back to the grotto when everyone told her not to. She dug in the mud when the crowd thought she was insane. She repeated words she did not understand to a priest who did not believe her. An illiterate girl changed the world because she obeyed. At Cana, Mary interceded before Jesus was ready to act. They have no wine, she said, and his hour had not yet come, but she asked anyway, and he acted. At Lourdes, she still intercedes. For the sick, for the broken, for the ones living in their own dungeons. Sometimes the door opens into healing. More often it opens into something harder to name. Peace in the middle of pain. Presence when the miracle does not come. Bernadette entered a convent in 1866 and disappeared from public life. She worked in the infirmary and suffered from tuberculosis that killed her at 35. When visitors wanted to see the famous visionary, she complained that they showed her off like a fat ox. When someone asked about the apparitions, she said the Virgin used her as a broom to remove the dust, and when the work is done, the broom is put behind the door again. The spring still flows. The crowds still come. The Medical Bureau still investigates with their brutal standards and their 99% rejection rate. And in the Dungeon Museum, you can still see the room where 6 people slept on straw while heaven prepared its messenger. Mary did not promise to make Bernadette happy in this world. She promised happiness in the next. That is not the message we want to hear. We want our problems solved now. We want healing on our terms. But the one who is the Immaculate Conception, who embodies unbroken relationship with God, tells us the path home is prayer and penance. The miracles may come or they may not. What is certain is the presence of a mother who went to the dungeon to find us.